our dear friend Can't Stop Lying, who's awesome, sent me a clip of Candace Owens reacting to a video about Trump. I get about Don Jr. Being refused entrance at the spin room at the debates, and apparently she reacted to it or whatever, and apparently the general consensus, and I'm quoting, is that Don Jr. was being a whiny little bitch. And everybody was apparently saying this at the same time. Like she was there. She was physically present and watched some of this stuff happen or whatever. I had heard that they were bitching about this, that he and Kimberly were complaining about it, but I did not know there was video until today, thanks to ZSL. So I ran right over to the source and jumped right in, and here it is. This is the video where I think Don Jr. is, I think he's trying, as you do, trying to, like, he wants this out because he thinks he's making a point. Now, first things first, his dad didn't show up for the fucking debate at all. He didn't show up. He refused to go. So why the fuck, if you're not going to show up to actually debate, would you get to be in the fucking spin room talking, getting all the free press that comes from being in the debate if you don't even fucking show up? Why? Why is that? Why would you even be stupid enough to think that's gonna... How? What? Why would you think you're allowed? And talk about like privilege and just being full of your fucking self. But here we go. Let's see this. This was posted by a friend of Don Jr.'s. I think Ed Krasenstein posted on Twitter.
Right now, trying to ban people from actually...
Right now, I'm trying to...
By the way, when did he go from being Ellis in Ferris Bueller? I mean, Ellis in Ferris Bueller. Ellis in Die Hard to Cameron in Ferris Bueller.
Rooney? You are an asshole. Asshole.
I think it's that, supposedly that plastic click-in plate that he's got, where the coke burned through his hard palate, allegedly.
Having discourse about politics.
And this kind of thing or whatever, and people won't let me in because they're under the impression that I'm somehow a puppet. Do you see a hand up my ass? Don't look.
How un-American.
Probably.
Yeah, Kim, shh. Your man is bitching right now. You'll have your turn.
Shouldn't surprise any of us.
No, it shouldn't surprise anybody. This is Fox.
It's shit. It's the RNC. It's Republicans. It's the Republican Party. That we shouldn't be surprised.
But that's what it is. And I've been told by others that I would be able to go in. So they...
Told by others. And those others would be... Anybody from Fox? No? Did they actually arrange ahead of time for you to be... Because he was able to go, but that doesn't mean you can go into the fucking spin room, because you need a little laminate like that, like the press folks have. Fuckhead.
They said we weren't able to go in, then they said they were, and now that we're here, and the candidate that...
Who said you can't go in the spin room?
They're telling me right
He's
now,
saying
Fox
Fox
won't
said
let
that.
me into the spin room.
Right. The bigger question is, who told you could fucking go? Because that would be the person you would bitch at. That's why, by the way, at this moment, if this was real at all, and this asshole wasn't just trying to, like, bluster his way past security at a club he's not welcome to, he would basically call that person up and go, yeah, you said we could get in, and they're trying to stop me. Can you call somebody? That's how you fix those things. As somebody who weaseled their way into their fair share of Aspen Comedy Festival after parties while effectively being blacklisted from performing there for years, still managed to get in. I know the deal, and you got to know when to back off. If you can only do, like they told us we'd be on the list. It was and you've got a name that they would recognize, and you drop it, and they go, "Oh, okay, sorry, okay." So, and they're gonna forget, they're not gonna ask, and then you zip right through or whatever. But if he's like Gary, like fuck, you got to bail. But the same person that he's, first of all, nobody told him he could come in, and secondly, if if he did make somebody up, if it was somebody that had the ability, besides Rupert fucking Murdoch, they'll be in the goddamn room. They're just making it up.
That's what the American people should know. This is
Yes, the American people should know that somebody, I don't know who, told us we could go in, and now somebody who's standing right here and who has the authority to say so is not letting us in. This is not how we live, okay? I did not dump the fucking governor of California so that I could fuck this guy so that I could be stood up by some fucking low-level security person doing their goddamn job.
the kind of
They're
network
telling
they
him he
are.
works for security here, but
No, they're not telling him. He has a set of parameters. You don't meet them. That's how it works.
they're telling him that I'm not allowed to go in there.
Yeah, they're telling him that, you mean the list of like what passes can go in and what passes can't?
Because the candidates that they've been boosting while simultaneously trying to cut down Trump,
He didn't show up, fuckhead. He didn't show up. He didn't come. Boosting, motherfucker. He could have boosted the shit out of himself if he showed up, put on his fucking truss and his Depends, and waddled the fuck up there.
for the last, 2 years, didn't perform as they had hoped.
Didn't perform at all. He didn't show up, stupid.
So they can't have someone who can maybe be a representative of my
No, if your dad was there, he would go, no.
father. Just like a few weeks ago when I was canceled after the first indictment, I was scheduled to go on. And about 5 minutes before I'm on, I found out I'm no longer on because apparently I wouldn't be a great surrogate to talk about my father's indictment.
Yeah, I think that's true. I've seen you on Newsmax and the other channels talking about it, and it's not a good look. It's not. All you do is say it's nonsense. Use the word nonsense a lot, and they got plenty of people who will come on. They had a dude to come with face tattoos who could come on and rap that. So I'm just saying the standard is fairly high. And this is the face you were expecting to make backstage at the RNC Fox debate when your dad was president at one point. This is that moment, isn't it? This is the moment when you realize you're on the downslope. You're on the brown side of ripe.
Just so we understand what we're dealing with here. So it shouldn't surprise any of us, and it's also why Trump was 100% right to not go to this debate.
Exactly. Yes. Tell them, Don. Tell them we had a reservation, even though we didn't call ahead. Tell them. Tell them we know the person who owns the fucking building, this restaurant. All right. I'm sorry. I just get this way. Can you fucking imagine them showing up without a reservation at a packed restaurant? God damn.
It's beneath him, and when you know that you're walking into a
It's beneath him, but it's not beneath you to show up like a fucking hanger-on and try to barge into the spin room.
setup because of exactly these kinds of circumstances, you understand exactly what
The circumstance would be that he did not show up, and so only the candidates or the surrogates for the candidate, direct surrogates for the candidates that appeared in the debate can appear in the spin room to effectively clean up their talking points or moments they had in the debate or answer those things so that they don't get trapped. I mean, you don't get to debate without debating, fuckhead. That's really what this is about. I'll send my son down there to just eat up a bunch of fucking bandwidth after.
what's going on in mainstream media, even conservative.
It's very
Mainstream media. It's terrible. That's why mainstream. It's so. I have a quick question. Would Trump and Tucker Carlson allow surrogates from Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson and I don't even know if DeSantis has anymore. He's been firing people so fast. Allow them to just kind of stand in the background during the Tucker interview in the fucking Bedminster sauna, wherever the fuck they did it. Would that be cool? I mean, look, the truth is, Don, is you need a security pass to go into places because they need to have secure environments, and they need to have a standard that they set up so that people get equally treated. You can't just have people coming and going in any door you want. What the fuck do you think this is, Mar-a-Lago?
I like to knock the one side, but I got to call balls and strikes. This is no different than what we see from the Democrats. It's no different when
well, it is. I'll tell you how it is different. If this was the case, if this was the Democratic debate, if they got Marianne Williamson and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. together to do a pissant two banger debate between the two of them, and Biden didn't show up, he's not sending Hunter or Jill or Haley or Shemp or, Zeppo Biden down there to try and muscle their way in backstage to get his talking points in. That's how it would be different on the Democratic side. Just saying. Jesus Christ.
What we're seeing from the Fulton County DA when they're trying to...
Look at this poor fucking guy. He's just doing his goddamn job. He's got an all-access pass. Why don't you just... You know how to make this perfect? If he just fucking snapped it off his neck and tried to walk in. Just so they could... Or like Kimberly did it. You know what? Fuck this. Clack. We're going in. Fucking... Just get blindsided like a football line.
A gag order on Donald Trump so he can't defend...
A gag order? He didn't show up, fuckhead. What are you talking about? What gag order? He boycotted the debate. What gag order? Other than when you see his face.
himself in court proceedings. And more importantly, to function as an intimidation tactic for anyone else who would defend him.
An intimidation tactic. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to scare you. Because they know the thing that frightens you the most is not being allowed to go into places you're not allowed to go into. Get the fuck out of here. Beat it. Oh my God, this place needs a bouncer with a giant neck.
Where the DA there is then saying, hey, we're going to add you people to the indictment if you take part in this. I don't know, guys. Doesn't reek of democracy. All the people that have been screaming that for the last 6 or so years.
Wait a minute. The DA said what? The DA said, if you take part in this, I'll add you the indictment. Which part?
All the people that have been screaming that for the last 6 or so years, especially during the Trump presidency.
Hold on. The fuck?
Function as an intimidation tactic for anyone else who would defend him, where the DA there is then saying, hey, we're going to add you people to the indictment if you take part in this. I don't know, guys. Doesn't reek of democracy. All the people.
All right. Which part? If they'll add you to the indictment if you what? Intimidate witnesses? Because I think that's what he's talking about. He's looked at the bail conditions, and in that is if anybody in your circle, if you use them as a surrogate, you have them threaten people, your kids threaten them, or anybody in your organization or your campaign starts doing it, we will add them to the indictment because they're just doing the witness threats for you, which would be in any RICO situation, they would do that. That's what he's talking about. That is, I guarantee that's what he's fucking talking about. That the bail conditions mean that Don Jr. feels like his hands are fucking tied because he can't threaten the life of Georgia poll workers or
people that have been screaming that for the last 6 or so years, especially during the Trump presidency, when I believe we had a lot more freedom than we do now, or
well, you had a lot more freedom to break the law. Apparently, like people were because your dad was president. I guess you had a freedom to make certain. I mean, up till the point your dad couldn't pardon you anymore. I guess. Shit. Did he give you a retroactive pardon? Are we going to find out that he pardoned him under the table? He gave him like a kiss my ass pardon that he could just carry around for anything that happened during the Trump years? Bet you anything.
Certainly, since this administration's taken over, are strangely quiet, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
Jesus Christ. Whingy. As whinge as the wind blows. God damn. So fucking weak. It's not surprising. This is how they're going to react. It's amazing to see people who have had this kind of privilege, like this silver spoon, born on third base, thought they hit a triple. Second generation, in his case, third generation rich kids who just kind of assume that they've got like a fuck you card that they can play everywhere. And like the rest of us that actually had to make something of our fucking selves and many times do it over again. How many people in the chat room, besides myself, have had multiple times where they've had to like start their career from scratch just because of circumstances? You guys know very well how much I talk about the 90s. But, you know, even after QAF, like because I was on that show, there were a lot of doors that were frankly shut in my face just for taking part in it. So, you know, luckily, you know, stand-up's always this thing where it's like a, you know, get out of fucked up shit free card a little bit, because you get more room to maneuver as a comedian, you know. Apparently the only, you know, bumpers on the outside are Cosby, and Louis C.K., which I'm fine with. Right? But we've all, I think, you know, had to like, all right, well, that fucking vein is totally dry. What do we do? And if you give a shit about your family or your children, or you just get up and get on with it. And that, I think, and it shows in who you guys are, it definitely shows, you know, it gives you the gift of resiliency, right? And I just don't fucking think they have any idea, right? Honest to God, I honestly think this is an absolute shock to them everywhere they turn. I mean, it's the closest thing to affluenza I've ever seen, which is not a real disease, but as you know, as a hashtag, it works for somebody that's just born with so much, like that they're not so much. I would argue there's an element of that in a lot of, you know, the general citizenry in the United States. When people bitch about the government or bitch about traffic or bitch about whatever rando stuff or even their job, how much we all take for granted. Nobody is completely safe from that reflex, that human reflex to take things for granted that are just kind of always there, you know, and the immense privilege of just even fucking being alive in the United States, as opposed to any number of other fucking countries in the world, right? And you can see there's a wide political spectrum of people who don't appreciate how lucky they are, right? To at least have that be the foundation under your feet, right? And I would say, I'm sure the same thing is true of the French and Swedes and the UK and, you know, like a lot of European countries as well. But there's another tier to it of these of the Don Juniors in the air. It's like you could just tell they are fucking shocked that they just don't get catered to at their first foot stomp. While the rest of us either have to punch through or go around.